Welcome to another weekend here on the platform. My name is Sam Omashe. On this program this weekend, I will start with two comments. One is on the serial losses of the governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. He contested against the governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, to be the chairman of Northern Governors Forum, and he was defeated. And he went on for another battle after he was rejected by the PDP governors to run for the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum. And he was also defeated by Ekiti State Governor, that's Dr. Kayode Fayemi. The other point is that Simon Lalong, I think, is in a good position now to bring his ideas about how to bring people together and create templates for peace, as he has attempted to do in a very commendable way in Plateau State, where he was able to create some kind of templates for different organizations, different ethnic groups, and different tendencies to come together for peace. It's not perfect. It will break down. There will be rogue elements inside of it, as we have witnessed even in Plateau State. But I think it is time that he was put in such a position to implement them. And we should have no doubt that the problem with violence, as we shall see presently, it's not just about that. It's not just about the Governors Forum or Northern Governors Forum getting things together. It is also about the federal government putting their fingers on the pulse. Okay, the second point refers to Ovie Omagege, the senator, who wants to be Deputy Senate President. In other climes and in other political settings of greater and more sublime reckoning, a man like him will be a shoe-in for that kind of position because of the resources in terms of personal energy that he has invested in his party, especially on the floor of the Senate, where we had a lot of rogue elements who left the party, and he stood there as the counterfoil to that party. And now that the party is stabilizing in the Senate in the next cycle, a man like him ought to be put in such a position where he can now vouch or espouse the position of the party. We're not looking for somebody who will be a lovey-dovey senator to the executive, but at least somebody who is of good standing and who has fought for it. People like him are called good and faithful servants. Love him or loathe him, Nigeria's former President Olusegun Obasanjo surely has a way of remaining in the limelight. His latest rhetoric on the Boko Haram insurgency being a script in play to achieve West African Fulanisation, that word, and African Islamization has put him at the receiving end of angry outbursts from government and individuals who are not taking kindly to his comments. But regardless of the furore he has raised, is there a substance of truth in all OBJ has said? And should Nigerians be deprived of the right to protect themselves in these perilous times when the state seems helpless in ensuring the safety of its citizens? This is the big question on the lips of many struggling to understand the president's executive order to remove, revoke, and banish all firearms or shotgun certificate or license in Nigeria. If this order is followed through and through, the number of small and light weapons in circulation will drastically reduce. But are Nigerians prepared to willingly surrender the leverage they may have against faceless assailants? Well, with me here, lawyer and public affairs analyst, perspicacious analyst, Liboros Oshoma, welcome.
My pleasure.
And of course, the ever bright Adewale Adeoye, thank you for joining me here.
You're welcome.
Now, to analyze these issues, Liboros.
Yes.
I saw that it used the pulpit to make this statement about Islamization and Fulanization. Is there a dissonance in terms of the context?
First and foremost, like you said, Obasanjo has a way of, remaining relevant. If you underrate or undermine him at your own peril, and then don't give him opportunities to remain relevant. And the only way, and the only way you can't give him opportunity is to continually, do the right thing. And then with that, like people say of us, who are critical of government decisions, oh, you always criticize. They don't give us opportunity to criticize. And so, Obasanjo may not have used the right words, but the issue is that there is truly a challenge that is confronting all of us, and that if care is not taken, if not properly handled, might snowball into something that is unimaginable. And everybody, seems to be on edge now, that it is so bad that even generals who ordinarily you think should be fearless now, travel with caution and fear.
Now the question is, should you be talking about Islamization in the church?
That's what I'm saying, that he chose the right platform to use. With these days, Nigeria, I always say this, we have never been so divided the way we are now. We are divided along North and South. We are divided along Christian Muslims. We are divided along, religious. And so, the right place where Obasanjo's message would get the kind of resonance he got would be that place. Whoa. And the words, for me, I have a problem with the words used. As a statesman, as a leader, at that level, you don't... even if there are crises, there are issues, you feel there's need to talk. But discussing Islamization and Fulanization, in such a podium where you should ordinarily be preaching peace and inclusiveness, yes. For me, I have it.
And when he's talking about Fulanization and Islamization, he was not just talking to that. It was a code word against President Buhari.
Yeah. Well, I think we've never had a fair contest in terms of Obasanjo's political history. Even now he emerged in 1999. Yeah. You remember that he didn't even win his ward.
Yes.
So his people were telling Nigerians that if they had been on their own, maybe Western region, he wouldn't have been a councillor. But there were some factors that came into play, and then opportunistically, the military wanted somebody who could defend their own interests. So that was how he emerged.
Some people use the expression
that
I read in this man's novel Vanity Fair, Thackeray. Say maybe his luck was too good for his merits.
Yeah. So, but I think sometimes
that's true.
Yes.
He overestimated his political relevance. Yeah. In this last election, and you could see what happened.
Yeah.
Even in his state, in his home state. He was defeated, locally and also nationally. It became a bit not too relevant. But I think the statement he made was a very sensitive statement. Yes, people are being kidnapped. We are all worried about the security situation in the country. But then, when people speak, we need to be very, very conscious of the motive. Is it born out of genuine interest for the masses, or people are just exploiting the fears, for parochial ends? And that's why you have to look at his own history himself. In 1999, when he came, that same year in November was when Udi was invaded. A community of 20,000 people and over 1,000 people were killed. So when you are talking about state terrorism, it actually began under his regime. So we need to interrogate. Sakin Biam in 2001. And even when you look at Boko Haram, when it started in 2005, their slogan was to purify Islam in northern Nigeria. It was only in 2009, when under the PDP regime, under the leadership installed by Obasanjo, that Yusuf was killed. And it was that state murder, that prompted violence, And since that time, we find it difficult to get out, to reverse the trend. So if you now come and say, look, is violent, we need to put it in particular historical context and whether he said that thing in order to, out of the love, for Nigerians. I don't think so. I think it was just a kind of trying to exploit the, the temple of the moment and also to create the impression that it's still relevant. And I think that I also noticed contradiction in his statement. He spoke about Boko Haram Fulanisation. Boko Haram is mainly the surah. The leadership is controlled by Kanuri people. They are not Fulani people. So when you are not talking about Boko Haram Fulanisation, I mean, there's a kind of contradiction in terms.
But it was also talking about. I was also referring also to what some people saw as the herdsmen also trying to go into Christian communities and kill. I'm sure it was kind of, there was a reverberation of that inside. Now, Boros, he was using the word Fulanization, or using that. People believe too that he was a beneficiary of Fulanization. And then it's going, Fulanization becomes bad when it's on the wrong side.
You see, really, like I said, I'm not a fan of Obasanjo. I've never been. I think Obasanjo is the luckiest Nigeria.
I don't see anybody more lucky than
yes, he's the luckiest Nigeria. God gave him this country on a platter of gold, and he would have written his name in gold in the sand of time. But he missed all of that opportunity. But one thing you can't take away from him is the fact that Obasanjo has consistently, been controversial, right from even when he left as a military head of state. That you can't take away from him. And like I said earlier on, don't give him opportunity to advise you. Don't create those rooms. He benefited immensely.
It's like Paulo Rossi.
Yes.
You give him a sliver of a chance, he
will score. So he benefited immensely from this same agenda that is now condemning. But you see, he always knows when to sing those tunes. Are people, will those message resonate with the people now? Yes, it will, because not just in the South, all over the country. The country as we speak now is a theater of war. And also, that's why I said statement used by Obasanjo shouldn't be coming from another statesman like him. And so also this government also shouldn't just sweep it under the carpet and say because it's coming from Obasanjo. I think there's need to look inward and not create opportunities such as this, because Zamfara, if we say really, truly is a Fulanization, then Zamfara and Katsina will not be, in the state that they are now.
Because
with the killings that is
killing
going. Exactly. So that's where the discerning Nigerians should understand that Obasanjo, with this message, has a personal agenda, wanted to remain relevant, but also the government should know that if you give him a yard, he takes a mile.
You know why it says Fulanization from my own point of view, and I want to comment on that, is that it's trying to tap into what some people over the past 4 years have seen as Buhari's foibles. That, his appointment, his attitude. Now you have the military, your your security architectures headed mainly by people from Fulani extraction and things like that. And is it not an irony that that same people cannot hold down the so-called full? So people like things like that. They say so his appointments are lopsided. For instance, say Efa Matthew, who is an Ijoma, got the position of acting security DG.
You remove him and brought Bichi from retirement.
From Kano. He did that, and then people will say, well, see, that's what we are saying. He comes out, Buhari comes out and says that people say so are wicked. But the facts that people see tend to push them in that reaction to think that perhaps this man is not aware of what he's doing or what is going on. So it is something like that Obasanjo is tapping into when he says.
That's why I am saying that when you give people look at where he made such statements. When you give, and then, there are people who also are not, who felt they ought to be in government, who are not in government. That's, and one thing that is very clear in Nigerian politics is that the moment you're outside of government, that's when everything becomes clear. That's when you see marginalization, you see new word now, Fulanization, and all kind of denizations that you have. And so, and they take opportunity of the teeming illiterate population that we have
Yeah.
to key into seemingly, this
yeah.
popular agenda.
Agenda.
It was the same thing during the June 12th crisis. The politicians pretended to be freedom fighters. Just the same way Obasanjo all of a sudden now is that man who will awaken every successive government to reality on the need for transparency. When even while he was head of state or president, he told his advisors that I must not take all your advice. But the fact remains that, like I have said, there's no smoke without fire. It is like incidents that you have outlined and painted that gives people like Obasanjo, no matter how irrelevant their statements are, that lays credence to what they are saying. That people will tell you, leave the messenger, address the message. And so my advice really is for the government. There's need for the government to look at their security apparatus and architecture and find better ways of protecting lives and properties. And once we do that, you make people like Obasanjo irrelevant.
Now, now going into the issue proper. Do you think, those people, there are a lot of things going on in the north now, especially with the Talakawas. Yeah. Many of them are kidnapping the rich, the very rich, the governors, who are, by the way, most of whom are Fulani, cannot travel between Kaduna and Abuja, either to or fro. They cannot travel the road between Kano and Kebbi and Katsina or even to Sokoto. They are already taking what they call it, fines from farmers. So we have a ready problem of food security. Apart from human security, we have a problem of food security going on. Do you think all of these people are conscious of this elite argument about Fulanization, Islamization when they are doing this? When they are fighting, when they are trying to dig gold in Zamfara, when they are looking for iron ore in lead in Niger State or in Nasarawa State. Do you think that people are thinking about that?
I think the summary is that, you see, if you are a father and you are raising hungry children, you must be prepared for sleepless nights. So for long, people have been exploited. The dignity of man, is lost. So when you find yourself in that kind of situation, when people, an hungry mind listens to no sermon. So hunger, starvation, deprivation, loss of opportunities is going to get to a station that people will be desperate to do anything to survive. So the situation we find ourselves is that people are rising up. Out of their the cage, the economic lack of opportunities has put them. They are being compelled to do anything to survive. So that means nothing to them again. So it's a challenge that the government need to address. If they don't do it on time, it's going to get out of hand.
What we are seeing, actually, I see it as a class struggle. So people are talking of Boko Haram, which is gold. All of them are trying to fight. They are saying that, look, these people who are on top are not helping our lives. Exactly. Like children, I cannot be an Almajiri to you, and your child goes to school in Oxford and my child will be an Almajiri to you. No, that's the situation that is going on. So the feudal system is coming to terms with a very modernized and sophisticated Talakawa. They are not self-conscious of it, but that is what is going on.
That's true.
That's how revolution starts. So we have to be careful. We'll take a short break and we'll be back. Welcome back. Now, the other issue now has to do with the executive order of the president, where he has now said no guns, no civilian in a simple sentence should hold a gun. If you have license, it is automatically revoked. In other words, everybody should turn in their guns. Now, the first thing I saw here is a president trying to say, all of you say that I am supporting all these people killing. I'm saying that they should not have guns. So how will they kill? That is where I see it coming. But the issue is more complicated than that.
Well, I think the government, did it act within the framework of law? Yes. The Nigerian Firearms Act of 1990, states clearly how, who can own firearms. No Nigerian is permitted to hold firearms, except when granted license by the president or the IG. Firearms could not be given to anyone that is less than 17, or somebody of unstable mind, or somebody who has committed violent crime, or somebody whose mind is unsound. Now, that law also empowers the president, if he deems it fit from his own judgment, to revoke the license in a part of the federation or throughout the federation. So he has acted within the law. But then, we should ask ourselves, what are the implications? Well, it's going to create some sense of order, stability. But we should be very conscious of the fact that those who carry illicit weapons, they are people who don't recognize the law. So they are not likely to recognize the order of the president. So if you ask people to hand over their weapons, you are probably going to disarm legitimate citizens, honest people, private companies, private estates who have legitimate arms who can protect, their estates and protect people. So you are going to empower these other people that don't actually have respect for your laws. So, and then we have gun shops in Nigeria, where people sell guns as a means of living. What are they going to live on? Because they have just June 1st deadline. We have Nigerian Shooting Federation, led by retired Brigadier Adeoye. They even had competition this year, where about 46 journalists participated. What happened to those associations, between now and June 1st? So I think when we are taking decisions about this kind of thing, we have to look at the long-term implication of whatever, because the people that are carrying these illicit weapons, they will not even respect your order. They operate from the logic of, of disobeying laws. You understand the point? So you are asking them to hand over these laws. It's just a paper tiger. They will not respect it. So at the end of the day, we ask ourselves about enforcement. In a society where the corruption is the order of the day, having one law is one thing, but will it be enforced?
That's it.
So you see, first and foremost, starting from the Firearms Act, the people who are carrying firearms, who are using these firearms against innocent citizens, are not the ones that are licensed to carry firearms. They are not the ones. So
there's no need to even go after the license.
We have not been able to mop up those illegal holders. And so maybe the idea they are looking at, if we give a blanket revocation, then anybody we see, it will be easy to, but that's far-fetched. Because first and foremost, if I have a firearm, the first thing would be I need to produce a license to defend myself that I have it illegally. And then also that firearm is given to me not to use for illegal means. So if I use it for illegal means also, I have violated the laws of the land. The government also have not been able to bring people to book, majority of these people to book. And so, like you have said, revoking licenses will not stop people who are acquiring firearms illegally from owning firearms. So what we should be doing really is first, and then some people also have argued that because of failure of the state to protect them, it is almost now to your turn to Israel. You see almost every estate have civil defense. Some communities, I know some communities in Nigeria that have, some state government have, civil defense that they have armed to protect communities because of even communal crisis. So when you give blanket revolution, what you are saying is that I can't solve the problem.
You are creating a Hobbesian,
I'm telling you,
an Hobbesian situation where the innocent become vulnerable and the criminal becomes...
let's know, what if the criminals who, like you said also, will not surrender their arms, now feel, okay, well, the government has mopped up those arms from those people who ordinarily should be able to confront us. Now we have a free reign. So government should be more tactical
what this comes to is that if you had a system where the law enforcement was effective, you wouldn't need to make this kind of law.
At all.
Yes.
So and when you make this kind of law,
how do you now make it effective?
How do you now make it effective when the extant one was not effective? So, but finally, they could use that as a political way. I see it as political. So you guys say that
I'm not working.
I'm not working. I'm supporting these people who carry guns to keep people up north. Now I say that carrying gun is illegal. So you see, I don't support it. But that looks a little simplistic to me.
Very, for me, like you said, it's very simplistic. Because we have agreed here that those who are carrying these arms illegally do not first and foremost recognize your laws. And they didn't get it legally. So they are not going to submit them to you as part of those you have license to carry guns.
What is even the sanction in that law? The sanction is fine of 1,000 naira,
which is
or imprisonment of 2,000 by 2 years.
2 years, which
so
is
it's nothing
very
to,
simple,
you know, very simple. So we need to look at that law.
Okay.
And review it.
All right, we can go on and on and on. My people are telling me it's time up. Well, thank you very much, Libaros, and
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Wale. Thank you for very insightful interventions. Well, thank you for watching the program. Today, you can catch up with me and my published column on www.samomashaye.com. Also follow me on Twitter. My handle is @SamOmashaye. And until next time, be good.